Hello, everyone, and welcome to African Americans in South Africa. How are you? Today, this session is Real Estate Talks with Marcy, our resident expert. Look at her smiling. Look at her smiling. How are you, Marcy?
Oh, well, thanks. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thank you. Welcome to the community. As always, we want to discuss real estate, so why don't we jump right in? Today, let's talk about some legal framework for foreign buyers. Now, I came across some information. I'm going to look at my notes.
Okay.
It says South Africa allows foreigners, including Americans, to purchase property without requiring special permits or citizenship. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that is correct. Any foreign national can purchase a property in South Africa without um, citizenship. But it also doesn't mean that when you purchase the property, you gain automatic citizenship.
Okay.
So you are allowed to buy a property without citizenship.
Mhm.
However, that doesn't then give you citizenship.
Okay, so it's not in Monopoly, you pass go, you get your 200 now. Okay. All
No,
right. So
no.
but you can purchase, but it
Yes,
doesn't,
you can.
oh, okay. But it doesn't
You can.
automatically make you a citizen. Okay.
No, it doesn't automatically make you a citizen. And I think I also should explain the fact that you can also apply for a bond, um, but you will get up to only 50% if you are a foreign national.
Okay. You want to explain a bond in our language?
A bond is a mortgage. So you will be accepted, or depending actually on your profile. So I shouldn't say you will be accepted. Depending on your financial profile, you can apply for a mortgage from any of our financial institutions. You are allowed to get a maximum of 50%. The rest has to be in cash.
Has to be in cash.
The
Ooh,
rest has
okay.
to be in cash.
All
Not
right.
in a duffel bag, not in a
Okay.
duffel bag in cash.
Okay. All
But
right.
yes, the rest has to be, um, uh, you should be able to then transfer it
Okay.
once your bond has then been approved. So the remainder should be in your possession or in your account.
Okay. All right. Thank you. One exception is foreigners cannot own agricultural land or land designed as protected areas.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Um,
go
So
ahead.
this is not just for foreigners alone. So there are protected agricultural areas which even some South Africans who are white South Africans can't own. So there's what we call a BEE transformation that is happening where the government is giving some of the land to previously disadvantaged people in South Africa. So it is just an all-rounder thing, but agriculturally, no, you cannot purchase. It has to be a primary residence or a holiday home, so secondary property.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then finally, joint ownership. So, as a foreign buyer, I can jointly, like if you and I went into an agreement, we could purchase together. Is that so?
I think I'm going to need to come back on that one, but I think you should be able to. I think we should be able to, as long as obviously all the paperwork is obviously legally drafted in that fact. If you don't have citizenship, so you still gonna if your portion if you're an American citizen, your portion will always still need to be in cash.
Always in
So
cash.
I can get then a mortgage. Yes. So
Mhm.
then I can get a mortgage for my portion, and then you can get half of your portion for a mortgage, and the rest has to be in cash.
Okay.
Or the entirety of it has to be then in cash.
Okay. All right. So we will revisit that. I know my mouth is
Yes.
trying to work here on that word. Yeah.
Yes. It's
Okay.
okay.
So when it comes to finances, there are regulations, and South Africa has some strict exchange control laws. Let's talk about those for a moment. Foreign
Is
buyers must declare the source of funds for the purchase. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, it's not only foreign buyers. I understand why they labeled it or they worded it that way, but it's not just in general for foreign buyers. It is in general also for us. You have to prove your source of income. You have to prove your source of money, where the money comes from. So the money always has to have a trail. So even if you are a South African citizen, you have to bring pay slips, you have to provide pay slips, you have to provide bank statements, how long you've worked at that place, etc., stuff like that. That is also for tax purposes, because obviously we do pay taxes, and you have to pay taxes in South Africa, and there is property tax that you do need to pay. So that is why you have to have a money trail, whether you're a foreign buyer or whether you are a South African buyer. You have to prove the source of funds. So in a bank statement, or in a letter from your bank that says, we've got guarantees here that says that Gregory has got 5 million rand in his American Express account or whatever that he got from retiring as a judge, etc. So just so that we know, for anti-money laundering purposes also, so just that we know that the money is not being cleaned by buying a property.
Ah, okay. So I can't be a drug dealer trying to
No,
okay.
because we will also require, you must remember, we'll also require, we're very FICA compliant in South Africa, so we'll also require FICA. So FICA in terms of your passport, um, what do you guys call it? Your social security. So
Hmm.
your ID card, your proof of residence. So even if you are just here visiting, we will require, when you are purchasing, even if you're purchasing a holiday home, we will require proof of residence from America.
Okay.
So
All right.
those are the FICA requirements that also go in hand with that, just to make sure that you are who you say you are, firstly, and the money is coming from where it's coming, where you say it's coming from, where you're declaring it from.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you for that. Hmm. That's very interesting. So
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to say I'll just push my drug money to the side and
Yeah,
no.
push your money over there, because we don't want that.
Of
We don't
course,
want
I'm joking, of course.
that.
I'm
Yes,
joking.
obviously,
All right,
yes.
the funds must be introduced into South Africa via a formal banking system and documented by a South African bank. Talk to me about that.
Correct. So when we buy a property, when you buy a property in South Africa, we use what we call conveyancing attorneys. So conveyancing attorneys deal strictly with the transferring of ownership of properties. So from one owner to the other. So when we purchasing a property, you will pay whoever, whether it is the bank, whether it is your personal capacity, you will pay the funds directly into the conveyance's trust account. So it doesn't go straight to the owner, your purchaser. So it does, sorry, your seller. So it doesn't go straight directly into your seller's account. It goes into the conveyances. That's the flagging of the money. That's where that's the steps that needs, the legal steps that needs to go, the legal steps that the money needs to go through first. So it needs to go through their account, and their account is obviously a South African account. And that's when they also tell the banks, this money is for the transaction of RS, whatever your transfer record number is, for the transferring of that property. And then when the process has started taking place at the deeds office and it finally registers, then the money gets transferred from the conveyance's account, trust account, to the seller's account.
Okay. Thank
And
you
then
for
that's when you'll get the title. So that's how it needs to go into a South African bank account. So it will go into the conveyance's trust account.
that. Okay. All right. Thank you. That was an excellent explanation. Do you have any other thoughts regarding financial regulations and what African Americans may need to know as they start or initiate this process?
I think what you need to know is, I know it's very hard for the conversion. So you need to convert and see how much are you, the house that you are willing to purchase in South Africa. And if you have enough, if you don't have enough, then I think personally, before you even think or consider purchasing, you should then get your books in a row. So you should then get your credit in a row, credit in check, so that when you do come here and you do have 2 million and you need another 2 million, then it's easier for the bank then to borrow you that money. So I think that's something that you should consider, like getting your credit in check for that. And I think also, yeah, I think that's it actually. I think that's
Okay.
it.
So
I think
basically,
you
you're
need,
saying do your upfront homework, make sure
yes,
everything's, all your
yes.
ducks
So
are
it's like,
lined up. Mm-hmm.
make sure your ducks are lined up. So it's like when you also buying a car, you're purchasing something in America. So you do need a fairly good credit record. So you just need to make sure that before you come here or when you come here, if you don't have all of the funds in order, then you should make sure that you do have a good credit check so that you can then purchase your property seamlessly. Also, having said that, with us, I know your turnaround time in America is your turnaround transfer time is very short. Ours takes a minimum of 8 weeks to 12 weeks.
Okay. That's
So I know
important
yours is
information.
shorter. Yeah, I know your transfer time is shorter. Ours is not. Ours is fairly a longish period.
Mm.
I would say for a cash, it is slightly shorter. So I think for a cash offer, we would, depending on what happens at the deeds office, it would then transfer within, it should transfer within about 10 weeks. But it is a 8 to 12 week transfer time.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that kind of reminds me of how things work here. And
Yes.
I'm appreciative of it um, once you learn the system. But in America,
Yes.
we want everything like that. So
Yes,
yeah,
here transfers are not that quick. They don't. Sometimes there will be delays, like depending on. That's another thing I would advise to make sure that you've got all of your paperwork in order. So, like if you are applying for bonds and stuff, like if you are applying for a mortgage, I would suggest that you get your highest qualification certificate with you because that also does help with the repayment rate.
okay, okay,
So your highest qualification, so your marriage certificates, your proof of residence, all of that FICA documents you should have in order here. That will help also with that turnaround time because that will then be required. It needs to be required. So at some point it will then stop or put a pause in the transfer process. So if you have it all in advance, then when you send it all together, then it should take that 8 to 12 weeks.
thank you for that. See, we have an inside person, we have an inside expert. So you guys be in touch with me. You can join African Americans in South Africa on Facebook and just reach out to me and we'll put you in touch with Marcy. If you like this video, the information, the content therein, certainly like us and subscribe so you can watch our next video. As a matter of fact, you can go back and watch session 1 where we're talking about other matters that relate to purchasing in South Africa. For Marcy and myself, thank you again, Marcy. We wish you the
You're
best day
welcome.
you could have.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.